Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey friends, just imagine for a moment how you'd feel living the life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love with people you love and places you love, and all the while creating something of real value for others. That's what I call living a life of significance. And I can tell you it's a very happy life. And so can my new friend, Jacqueline Pirtle. She's my guest star for today. Hey, Jacqueline, I'm so happy to welcome you to the Something Significant show.
Thanks so much, Matt, for having me. I mean, we've been kind of speaking about it, so I'm super excited.
Awesome. Will you just take a minute and tell our awesome audience what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world?
Well, my main thing is shifting. My main thing that I really just adore doing is really writing books. And I have many, over 10, 15 now out, and also planning more next year. And they're all geared to helping people live happier lives, better lives, healthier lives, more aligned with them, not what I say, because my background is holistic practitioner. I've been doing this over 24 years, and I work with, naturopathic solutions and the mind and energy healing and all that good stuff, and helping families and helping individuals to just find themselves, because the answers are really in them. And I started writing books, and I can't get enough of it. I love it.
That's great. So Jacqueline, let's let our audience get to know you through what I call the mathematical equation of our happy formula. And you know what it is: capacity plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with capacity. And what are your personal practices for building your capacity? Physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional. In other words, what things do you do on a regular basis to create all the capacity you need to take really good care of yourself and others, and still have plenty left over to give to others?
Yeah, because that's with the overflow we serve the best, right? That's the purest serving. So, I just take excellent care of my whole being, but that goes really physically, mentally, emotionally, and then soulfully, and then also as one, being one in consciousness. So I go biking all the time. I choose exercise and movement every day, but I do what feels right for me. So if I say, I want to go biking, but inside of me it says, hey, not really, then I choose something different. I just listen. I go inward. And mentally and emotionally, I just really ask myself all the time, how do I feel? How can I make it better? Like, I'm just really connected. And then, of course, soulfully, spiritually speaking, I really just know that I have an inner being, and I go with that flow, and really do that. And if it says, hey, go with the flow, but I can't really right now, then I find in what I have to do still a soulful way of doing it, because there's always a way. Unconsciously, as I'm one with everything. I'm one with the bee, with the rock, with the raindrop, with the dolphins, but also with all the bumps in the roads that are in my journey and everyone else. So I never feel disconnected. It's always for me, in me, as me, and everything that I do matters,
So I've been lately talking about the difference between earthly energy and spiritual energy. Earthly energy, I can work my muscles out and I can get stronger, but when I exercise, they get tired, they need to rest. Spiritual energy is, so earthly energy is finite, spiritual energy is infinite. The more I use my spiritual energy, it's like love. The more love I give, the more love I have. The more, you were talking about the dolphins, the more you see the dolphins, you never get tired of seeing the dolphins. So talk a little bit about the difference between the finite energy that is our bodies and the infinite energy that is spirit.
Yeah, I mean, you say it like the spiritual energy, what's everything at its core in the smallest particle is energy, and it's limitless. It really is, because there's always more. There's so much wisdom out there. There is so much going on in that energy that we call empty. It's never empty. And yes, physically, I'm here in this physical body, and there are limits, and it's just, but without my physical body, I couldn't experience this life, and I'm here obviously to feel that life. But it's really interesting. In one of my books I wrote about, those moms that when their kids are in danger, they can lift a truck. Think about it. So how limited is the physicality or the physical body really? Only if you're not tuned into your inner you, your spiritual energy, that infinite. And through that infinite, you can even make your physical body, like limitless. But it all boils down to go grab what's infinite and be and live that, and then go through that, and you're going to be able to do whatever you want to.
I love it. Okay, before moving on to purpose, let's discuss my very favorite capacity building concept called Kaizen. It's the Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And it means there's always something you can do better tomorrow than you did today. And I love it because it always keeps me moving forward in some way every single day. So Jacqueline, how do you Kaizen your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being in the moment is certainly one thing. And I actually write in my book, 365 Days of Happiness, the first page talks about be a bee, being a bee that jumps from flower to flower, and the pollen adds up. And it's the same with happiness, with anything in life. Just don't go for the mountain. Just constantly ask yourself, what can I do different? Oh, a glass of water. Be the glass of water. Be present with it, and kind of like just really consciously and mindfully being in what you're doing, because that adds up. It really does. And it's also where your power to shift is.
Very good. Okay, let's dive into the second element of the happy formula. And it seems to me that major life transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation. Addictions, disease, death, disaster, some big crisis shakes a life and transformation follows. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share a transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So how about you, Jacqueline? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Yeah, absolutely. But I am rather like you, where I focus on inspiration, because everything that happened to me, is on my backpack, and it's what makes me who I am now. And that's also through what I can live and have the strength to talk to you today. So it's like that, it all adds up. So, honestly, it really is just the inspiration of when I listen to who I really am and I follow that, I feel good. I love to feel good. I just really do. And that's an inspiration for me. And from a little child, no matter what happened on my outer world, and plenty of stuff happened and traumas and all that. But I also always knew that when I go inward, everything is actually kind of good. Everything is playful. And, I used to call it my bubble, right? And people used to say, oh, don't worry, your bubble will burst. Well, it doesn't, because it's not a superficial bubble. It's actually my real world, who I really am. So that's my inspiration to go inward. How do I feel? And if I don't feel good, well, what kind of shifts could I do? And that inspires me.
Yeah. I was just writing to my younger daughter today who's struggling, and the conversation was about, in every moment in life, you can look at a dark side or a bright side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you look at the bright side, even when things are really bad, there's still a dark side and a bright side, that the bright side will always be better. Even if it really was horrible, it's still going to be better than that horrible circumstance, looking at the dark side.
Well, and also a lot of times I feel like the miracle and the magic is actually in that dark side, because it's a bump in the road. And if you turn it into a gift, then you're learning stuff or you're growing and expanding as who you really are, that you wouldn't have otherwise. So yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful.
Very good. Good stuff, Jacqueline. Well, let's take a quick commercial break and spread a little love for our sponsors for the entire month of January, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Zona Plus, the world's first software-controlled handheld device that improves cardiovascular health using isometric exercise. You're going to love yours too. I use mine almost every day to keep my blood pressure right where it should be. It also helps maintain healthy blood and oxygen flow and bone density. And it increases the production of nitric oxide, which also increases blood flow and lowers blood pressure. All good stuff. But what really surprised me is this little device has been adding muscle to my biceps too. I walk around all day long feeling pumped. Check them out at happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy for $50 off. Plus, for every order placed in the month of January, I'll donate $50 to WYTV7 and another $50 to Life Vest Inside. Okay, we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey, viewers and listeners, do yourself a great big health favor and buy your Zona Plus right after the show. I love mine, and I use it nearly every day, and I know you'll love yours too. But for now, let's get back to my special guest star, Jacqueline Pirtle. Jacqueline, I recently discovered an article called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. It was on lifescience.com. And it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on this planet. It concludes that compelling scientific data supports the notion that giving of one's time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway to discovering purpose, to transcending difficulties, and to finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I've updated our formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, Jacqueline, from your own life experience? Have you found that giving your time, talents, and treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. And you know, the interesting thing is about giving, because a lot of times we give, but from an empty cup. And we don't really feel so good, but we still give. And when you actually look and why do you still give and why do you let yourself run down so much, there is your discovery, right? You can just work on those two things and you just found yourself wonderfully. And if you have a full cup and you, or I have a full cup and I am giving, then I am actually in the frequency of, well, let's see, giving has an energetic value of happiness, of kindness, of compassion, of healing, of health, of abundance, all this, and oneness, right? It's like oneness with Mother Earth, if you think about it. She's giving us all the time. So, and that's the thing. So when I give and my cup is full, because I learned to be full and then give, then not only am I filling myself even further with goodness, but I'm also aligning with a frequency that we're actually meant to be here, which is that golden, pure, positive, energetic frequency that everything is made of. And that's actually my inner being. So, you know, you see the circles. It's just giving is amazing. And you learn really a lot about yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's you bring up a really important point that when you're giving from not a full cup, then that creates negativity and a downward, like, oh, of course, I have to be the one to take care of this situation. I have all these kids, I've got to give, and it's draining you. Mm-hmm. But when you give, when you're full up and it's overflowing and it's spilling out in your saucer and you give that away, it's like, this is awesome. And I'm going to keep filling and keep giving and keep filling and keep giving. And it's just upwards.
It's endless. It's endless. But I think the gift is also because so many people are giving with an empty cup and running themselves into the ground. The gift in that part is to look at it. Why am I doing that? And to find more, like start a courtship with yourself where you say, you know what, from now on, I still give, but I'm going to make sure my cup is full first. That makes you a wholesome being. And then you share and spread that happiness. I mean, it's giving is either way a win-win situation. Yes.
And let me add onto that a little bit. If you're giving from emptiness, the people around you are seeing that, and you're not a beacon of light. But if you change that and you start filling your cup up first and then you're giving, one of the things you're going to be giving is being a role model to those around you. They're going to say, absolutely. What happened to mom, or what happened to dad, or what happened to Joe? They're glowing, and that's one level of giving, just by taking care of yourself so others can see and can model that for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And you can go, I tell you what, when you give from a full cup, there is no limit.
Correct.
You can give and give and give and give. You're never going to go empty. And I love that frequency to be in. Absolutely.
And it's fun.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like very playful, very, it's like very, very fun thing to do. Giving from a full cup. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Okay. So that's the science. And I agree with it. And I've experienced that wonderful feeling that comes from the fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value to others. And I've experienced firsthand how the magic of life comes not from getting more, as we've been discussing, but from giving more. That's where the magic is. But there's more to it than that. It's not just the giving that's magical. What I've been exploring, Jacqueline, and learning about is when you're giving from living in your purpose, that's where the real magic lies. So tell us, Jacqueline, how does it make you feel when you're giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, and during your 24 years of helping thousands of clients discover their own happiness, they've told you things such as, Pirtle's joy for life is clearly evident in all her work, and it makes readers want to follow her advice. Another one says, Jacqueline makes me believe I can be and live a joyful and magical existence every new day of my life. Another one says, it's liberating to face your own blocks and to be finally free of the weight that they've caused for many years. And while for me, the changes I'm experiencing through working with Jacqueline are noticeable and real, I still feel like myself. I just feel like a more sure version of myself. So tell us, Jacqueline, how does all that make you feel?
Well, it makes my cup overflow even more. That means I have even more to give, right? I mean, that's what it is. And it's just, the thing is it makes me happy, but what really makes me happy and what touches me always really deeply, Matt, is when someone comes to me and say, what I worked with you on, or your books, helped me be more me. Mm-hmm. Because sure, I help many people, and in the beginning it is, it's a guidance a little bit stronger on it's still for them, but kind of showing them a little bit more what is for them. But then down the road, when they practice that and they get into it, then they do help themselves. And that's really what I love about my work. Helping somebody help themselves.
So let me ask you to explore this. If there's two people that you've helped, one you helped by saying, hey, I just read Matt's awesome book, Turning Inspiration into Action, and I highly recommend it. And they go away and they read it and they come back and they say, Jacqueline, thank you so much for Matt's book recommendation. It helped me become more me. And another one reads your books and has the same response. There's a difference between how you're going to feel, because one came from your soul to them, and the other is like, yeah, this is a great restaurant, this is a good book, you'd be happy, but there's a different level of joy. So explain why it's different when you're giving from your purpose, from your reason for being on this planet, and that impacts somebody rather than just helping somebody with their flat tire to improve their life.
Yeah, of course. What you're saying, I totally get it. I mean, helping from my purpose means that I'm growing too. I'm growing and I'm expanding and calibrating because it's like a stepping stone. You constantly do more. And then I go back and I produce, or I create another book or another session or whatever it is, really. It's helping for my purpose nourishes me too. It's an exchange. Everything is an exchange, because we're all one. And if you think about that consciousness out there, it's like this big pool of information. Well, me helping someone from my purpose, that means that's what we're feeding the big pool. And then at the other end of the world, somebody is feeding off of that pool. They've proven that if I smile, somebody in Africa on the other end of the world will get a chunk of that energy. So if it's for my purpose, of course, it's just so aligned with me, and my heart just feels, and mind heart connection is just, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. It feels so amazing. However, I also feel that when I help somebody through your book or through somebody else, to me, at the end of the day, it's about helping someone with exactly what's aligned to them. And that is, to me, is just incredible.
That was great. Yeah, I agree. So, okay. So purpose and giving make this great, big, happy circle. Giving your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway to discovering purpose. And giving from living in your purpose brings this profound joy to your life. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. Mm-hmm. And to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more to capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you, Jacqueline?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like you can't even put a name or one word to that type of feeling, right? It's just this deep inner connection, and to just be over the moon, and just knowing also, I think that's also a thing, that deep knowing that that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. I love it. What can I say?
Okay, good stuff. So let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love to read one of my very favorite quotes, or a few of them, to you. And then you respond to us telling us the very first thing that comes to your mind, because it's called a lightning round.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one's a little long, but I love it. From Naomi Long Madgett, I think. She says, I wouldn't coax the plant if I were you. Such watchful nurturing may do it harm. Let the soil rest from so much digging, and wait until it's dry before you water it. The leaf is inclined to find its own direction. Give it a chance to seek the sunlight for itself. Much growth is stunted by too careful prodding, too eager tenderness. The things we love, we have to learn to leave alone.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, be more spiritual, more energetic, follow your heart, and don't think so much.
Perfect. Okay. From Jack London, I would rather be a superb meteor, every atom of me in magnificent glow, than a sleepy and permanent planet.
Yeah, I mean, I call people that shine their light bright no matter what. You see them out of a mask. I call them shiners. So I'd rather be one shiner all by myself, than, because I'm going to be more powerful as one shiner than a million non-shiners. So keep shining.
Excellent. From Billy Joel, paraphrasing Socrates, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like we think we know, but it's from this, it's from the mind and physicality. And the more I learn, I actually realize, wait a minute, it's so limitless. There's so much out there in consciousness that I don't know. So I'm going to go where that is, because that's where the fun sits.
That's where the fun sits.
Yeah.
This one's from the past. Once you get where you want to be, you're not there anymore.
Yeah, because it's a never-ending story. It's like life is but even I believe even when you transition, it's never ending, because it's just, you transition matter, that's all it is. So it's never ending. It never stops. So if you think I'm going to search for that, and then, it's like being a parent. When your kids are actually, everyone is kind of settled, you're like, oh, and then here comes the next, because that is life. Life is ever changing. You're ever changing. You're never done. And you don't want to ever be done. I don't.
Correct. Me either. Okay, this is the show anchor. It's from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yeah, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Just go do it and follow your heart. Go after your dreams, because there is no failing. There is no, it's not working out, because the thing is like, whatever happens is your journey, and then you can make decisions again. It's just decisions, and you like almost like directions you're choosing, but you can always choose and go. So yeah, just go do it.
Just go do it. Awesome.
Just go do it.
Awesome. And now, folks, it's your turn to play along with us. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Jacqueline Pirtle, please show some love to our superb broadcast team by donating what you can to WYTV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Jacqueline, I just love your dedication to getting people to understand themselves better and to connect with who they really are by reading their energetic essence. And I admire your commitment and dedication to helping others learn that there's much more to tap into than the physical, earthly aspects of life. You help others know that there's a whole energetic part of everything and everyone for each and every one of us. And you say it's pure magic, and it is. It's the beautiful whirlwinds and forest fires and comets we're all born with that my audience has heard me rant on and on about. So I'm super happy that you've shared your magical voice on our show today. Would you take a minute and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me, Matt. This was really super. And I tell you, to the audience, that you're really just super. There is nothing else, because I see how super you are, and I know how super you are. And if you could just see yourself the way I see you. So that's why I'm saying, like, just go for it, live your life, be happy, and make yourself a priority. How do I feel, good or not good? And then shift, because you can do it. You have everything inside that you need. That's really my biggest message. Just do it.
And live, give me 30 more seconds, live your life, not somebody else's life, not what culture says. Talk about that, discovery of your unique self, why that's so important.
Why is it important? Because that's where your happiness lays. That's what, and what, you know what? It's like, come on, what is happiness? It's this big house of well-feeling. If you feel aligned and if you live your life, you have joyous thoughts, you're very given, your body is programmed with health, your abundance is going to be there. It's just the worries go. And that means you're sharing and spreading that. So yeah, living someone else's life creates a lot of havoc for you, but again, it's a gift when you notice that and see it, because then you can actually shift. So I always think everything is a gift. However, you living your life is where all the boomerang magic is, and it comes all back to you and fills and overflows. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jacqueline. I also want to thank WYTV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like Jacqueline and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the entire month of January, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Remember, the more you buy, the more I'll donate. So tell your friends to buy a Zona Plus too. It's good for their health and for their longevity. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Jacqueline Pirtle. Find her, friend her, go to her website and read a free snippet of her bestseller, 365 Days of Happiness. And to find all her transformative books and her inspirational podcast too, or to book one of her profound sessions where she'll meet you online and help you change your life forever. That's what she says, folks. It's all at freakyhealer.com. That's all one word, FREAKY healer.com. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy by finding your magic and believing as I do that a better self is always possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. I hope Jacqueline has got you motivated and feeling super confident and bold too, ready for action, ready to start discovering your unique and distinct reason for being on this planet. Because that's where you're going to make your mark of significance on the world. And the world is ready to hear from you. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.